You don't need to go to Niagara Falls when you can eat some fried balls.
What's going on, NASCAR Diecast collectors and diecast reviewers on YouTube? This is Original Big Bri here, and today I'm going to bring you guys with another new episode of the NASCAR Diecast News, hosted by me, Original Big Bri. As always, guys, I'm bringing you guys your weekly NASCAR Diecast news throughout each and every month to the very end of the wonderful 2016 NASCAR Diecast season. And boy, oh boy, guys, these weeks are really starting to fly down. I mean, with the IndyCar season already done, and now we just got NASCAR to watch until, you know, the off-season is going to be coming, but we still got a good amount of weeks left until the end of this season, as we're now to the second race of the chase for the first round of the 2016 chase for the Sprint Cup Series. And we do got a lot of cool new diecast to show you guys still for these next couple of months of the 2016 diecast season, and all these are from our good partners and Plan B Sales, Kasey Diecast, and Lesher's Diecast. And a good majority of these 164 diecasts that we're going to be showing you on this episode of the NASCAR Diecast News are pretty underfunded cars. So it's going to be, a very unique amount of diecasts that we got for this episode. We also do got some newest pre-orders, and of course we do got the latest cancellations from our good friends at Lionel Racing. Whether it comes to pre-orders or cancellations, always got to count out for Lionel. And speaking of Lionel, guys, we do got some Lionel news regarding for NASCAR Authentics, and we got some details for Wave 8, and we got some insights and some detailed photos of this for Wave number 8. And there's something very special that's going to be exclusive to this wave. But you know what, guys? We're going to get into all of this latest information and more as the NASCAR Diecast News starts right now. But before we do that, guys, we're going to take it back at the last 2 weeks where we had our last episode of NASCAR Diecast News with this best-selling diecast from NASCAR Diecast News 156. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, on the wonderful world of YouTube, I'm Original Big Bri, and let's start with the NASCAR Diecast News with your new release diecast from our good friends at Plan B Sales, Kasey Diecast, and Lesher's Diecast, like I already mentioned. And, the first thing that we got to start off with, guys, in numerical order, which will only be the 164s, and the majority of the 124s that are on this wave of new diecast are already released, so I'm not really going to review the same car twice. So we're on to the 164s, and the first one up is Ryan Newman's Buescher Filters car, and a very different look scheme for this year, and I kind of like it. This paint scheme has to be probably, I think, my most favorite Ryan Newman car for this year, because it has a nice change that I like. Because all of his other main cars like the Caterpillar and the Granger haven't really changed too much. So if you're looking for a Ryan Newman Buescher Filters car, then this might be the car to get right here. Well, any Ryan Newman diecast, but I think this is the one that you should probably get for sure, because it's a nice looking paint scheme, and also part of the paint scheme is covered with the Buescher filters. If you look really closely where the black is, there's actually some very faded Buescher filters that are pretty tiny that go into the paint scheme, which I think that's very unique. So props to Buescher Filters for creating a very unique scheme, and I don't think we haven't seen that done before for the Buescher Filters car, so that is really cool right there. So next one up, guys, we got two Xfinity diecasts, and the first one is the Brandon Jones next year car. Now, we did have two Brandon Jones cars that were offered, but this car ended up getting made, but his Menards car didn't got made. Now, I thought it was going to be the other way around because Menards is very recognizable, but that car ended up getting canceled, his Menards tied car, and this car actually got made. So, you know, I guess Lionel can't be that too predictable. But this next year car, I mean, I can't really say too much about it because I did originally thought that this car was going to get canceled because Brandon Jones is a relatively new driver, but I'm sure many of you guys who have, you know, followed in his footsteps, he's kind of progressively moved up in the ranks. So, you know, he's one of those young upcoming drivers who is, you know, going through the ranks in NASCAR, and he's got a little bit of recognition, but I guess this is pretty cool if you want to start off your Brandon Jones collection. This is the first card that they got produced for him for this year, so that's really cool right there. A nice looking car, I guess, but the next car I'm about to show you guys is one of our Chase contenders, guys, and it is the guy who's running dead last in the chase right now, which is, you know, none other better than our Pocono winner from this year, Chris Buescher, as he is driving the CXX plate safe car. So this car is relatively similar to David Regan's car from 2013 and 2014. They did make diecasts from those 2 years, but last year the David Regan cars were canceled. So really cool to see the 34's plate safe car make a return in regarding to train safety, because trains are dangerous. So yeah. If you guys don't know, check out Rob's review of this car when it comes out. I'm sure he's going to give you a lot of train safety tips on this car. But a really nice looking car, especially if you are cheering for Chris Buescher Nation, which I highly doubt he's going to make it to the second round, because he was definitely a very surprised winner when he won at Pocono for strategy. But, you know, if you are, you know, rocking the Chris Buescher Nation, then this would be a car to get right here. And speaking of that, guys, we do got his teammate coming on board with here, and we got a Landon Cassill car for the first time ever for the Gen 6 car. So we got Landon Cassill Snap Fitness car. This is another surprise car that I was very shocked to see that this car got made. I really thought that this car was getting canceled as well, because just, I don't know, it's just screaming cancellations right there. But I am really happy to see that this car made it in MOQ, and I'm sure lots of Landon Cassill fans are very happy to see this. I know one of my good friends, Chrome Stacks, or Ryan Kinsley, he's a big he's followed Landon Cassill for a couple of times now, for a couple of years now. So, and many other Landon Cassill fans, I'm sure, are really happy to see that this car got produced. And it's a nice looking different 38 car that we had. You know, we're so used to the 38 Loves cars, so really cool to see we got a different looking livery this year since, well, not livery, paint scheme. Remember, this is not IndyCar, so. But yeah, I mean, if you're definitely looking for a change on your 38 diecast, then this will be a car to get right here. I think it'll still look good with the David Gillen card that we had from last year, but you know, if you're a big fan of 38, then this might be a car right here, especially if you're a Cassill fan as well. Next car I'm about to show you guys is the Aric Almirola 2016 Waffle House car. A big change from last year's, which last year's, guys, was actually an exclusive promo car. This year, this car actually did got produced. Actually, wait a minute, the Waffle House car was released last year, but it was a 2014 car. That's just how rare it was. Sorry about that little error, guys, but I did remember that this car from 2015 did got canceled, and the car that was made in 2014 was a promo. So the Waffle House car has had some, you know, some iffy moments the last few years, but it looks like we finally got a Waffle House car that is in standard release and not a promo. And I say that this car looks a lot more better than what his predecessor was in 2014. It's got a lot more yellow onto it, and I think it looks really cool, and it goes well with the logo. And heck, I'm sure if you're a big fan of Waffle House, then this might be definitely absolutely a car to get right here for sure. And speaking to go with your waffles, guys, I mean, I don't really promote alcohol, but for any guys who are over 21 watch this video, you might enjoy this car right here, the Brian Scott Twisted Tea car. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Brian Scott, best driver in NASCAR for sure. If you can't tell my sarcasm, I don't know what is, but yeah, Brian Scott, we got another Brian Scott car produced for this year, which is really cool. And I do like. I mean, the Twisted Tea car has been the same as for the past few years, just a different number. But I think that this car looks a lot more better with the number 44 on it. Just I don't know. If they would have kept the 9, I think that I would not like the Twisted Tea car. But still, a really nice, cool paint scheme. I mean, I mean, you can't go wrong with Twisted Tea, and they do make a nice looking car for sure. Even though this car is on a base, but bases aren't really too hard to get off, so I wouldn't complain too much about this car. But if you don't like bases, then maybe I would recommend his regular scheme that was produced a couple months ago, his Albertsons car. But I'm sure my friend Derek Lewis will definitely get this car since he's a big Idaho fan, because Brian Scott is from Idaho, so good old potato state. So and speaking of good with potatoes, we got AJ Allmendinger's Buescher's chili beans car. So we got a different Buescher's car that was produced for this year, and I believe that this is actually the second AJ Allmendinger car that is produced. So along with his Kroger car, this car definitely looks a lot more different compared to what the standard blue Buescher's car that we got last year, and also the black Buescher's Grill and Beans car. So definitely a lot more of a brighter car for this year, which I do like. I think this car looks really, really nice. I'm really glad that they I'm kind of glad that they canceled the Buescher's car so they could, make this car instead, because the regular Buescher's car has been, the same paint scheme for the past couple years now. So glad they decided to go with this instead, and I think it's a really nice looking car. I mean, especially if you want something that's very eye-popping, I think this chili beans car is definitely right for you Allmendinger fans. The next one, I'm sure this is going to be the favorite here for the episode in the NASCAR Diecast News. Good old Dean Burrito, Matt DiBenedetto, guys. We got a Matt DiBenedetto car produced for this year. Finally, this is actually the third Matt DiBenedetto car that has been produced in the number 83 car, which did have 2 from last year. And now for the first one in 2016, guys, we have this Cosmo Motors car. And no, we ain't talking about Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents. We're talking about, Cosmo Motors, the main sponsor for Matt DiBenedetto. And man, oh man, what else to say about this car? This car looks nice, and I'm sure, and you guys who are big fans of underfunded teams, Dave Land, are really going to get this car. And this looks really nice, and it goes well with the other DiBenedetto cars that we have from this year. So if you do have the 83 recycling, the 83 recycling car from last year, and the 83 James Madison University promo, then this car will go very well with those die casts, because they just all look very nice altogether. Matt DiBenedetto has some really cool die casts for this year, and I'm excited for his Dawn's a Throwback Orange Crush car, because I think that is going to be produced. So DiBenedetto fans, you're definitely getting hooked up for this year. And to wrap it up on the 164, guys, we got none other than Regan Smith. I know, we finally got a Regan Smith car produced for the Xfinity Series. I know, right? I mean, besides the Dawn's a Throwback car that was released, we got an Xfinity car for Regan Smith, his Dale's Pale Ale car, guys. And this car was canceled last year, but just the only difference was this car has a number change. The number 7 car, which he drove last year, was actually canceled, like majority of Regan Smith diecast, which is very unfortunate. I wish Regan Smith gets more. I'm kind of glad that this car actually got made. I mean, I know the 124 version was canceled, but seeing that this car was a 164 exclusive for this year really makes it stand out. And yes, Dale's Pale Ale is an alcohol sponsor, so this car will be on a base, but it is a really nice looking car. And I already know one of my good friends, Buddy Poley, is really excited about this car, because Dale's Pale Ale isn't too far away where he is. It's like a North Carolina brewery company from what I know. So, if you're somewhere around North Carolina, then this will be definitely a car to get right here to support those local businesses and all that. So overall, a really nice looking car, and I also love how it has the colors of America on it. It just looks really cool, the good old red, white, and blue. But, yep, guys, now we're going to get on to the pre-orders, and it's only one car I want to talk about for the pre-orders, and it's going to be on the Chase Elliott, ironically, the Chase Cup car, guys. And what's really interesting about this car is that this is the only car so far, by the time I upload this video on YouTube, that is only offered for this year. I mean, last year, well, let's just say, yeah, this is the only Chase car, the Chase for the Cup car, that is only offered this year, which that is kind of ironic because, you know, Chase Elliott, Chase for the Cup, ready, set, Chase. There's a lot of hints right there, so I think it was only a matter of time to see that this car was going to, you know, get offered. But I do like the yellow sponsor, not the yellow sponsors, the yellow features that are on this car with the yellow splitter, the yellow name rail, and the yellow spoiler. Now, I do not know if this car might actually have the Twitter name on the windshield, because that's a new feature for this year, which I had mixed feelings about that, especially with my driver Carl Edwards, because he does that with Twitter. So I guess I'm ready for hashtag Carl Edwards now. NASCAR, man. I mean, tell me what you guys think about this whole Twitter Chase thing that they have on the name shields. To me, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I can see it being beneficial, but other times I'm just like, is it really that much of a difference just to put that on the windshield? I mean, it just looks kind of tacky in my opinion, but I'm sure if they're going to keep it accurate Lionel, then that's what they're going to do for the Chase Elliott car. But I definitely do see why that this might be the only car that will be offered by the time I upload this video, because last year a good majority of the Chase diecasts were canceled, especially in 2014. 2014 was horrible. Like, they offered, like, I think most of the Chase drivers in 2014, and a good majority of them were canceled besides Hendrick or Penske or Gibbs. So yeah, I kind of do see why. I think they're really taking it easy this year with the Chase cars. Maybe they're going to release some very unique ones, you know, then and now, but we might not get all 16 drivers this year, guys. We might, but I have a feeling they will be canceled. So for the Chase Elliott car, I guess it would be cool if you're supporting Chase Nation, but other than that, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's a very different looking car, especially since I'm a guy who's mixed feelings about the Chase. So, and now we're going to get on to the cancellations, guys, and the first car I'm going to show you for this cancellations, and it's a Darlington throwback car, and I believe this is the first Darlington throwback car that has been canceled in both scales. I know on the last episode of NASCAR Diecast News we did have Darlington throwback car that was canceled in the 124 scale version only, and that was a March Junior Autos Earner insurance car, but this is the first true Darlington throwback car that is canceled for this year, and it is, you know, none other than the underdog of well, you could definitely say he is the underdog of Hendrick Motorsports, Kasey Kahne's the Liftmaster Darlington throwback car. Now, I just think that this car, you know, the throwback is pretty cool. I mean, it's got a nice little retro vibe to it. I don't know what the retro or the throwback is dedicated to, but maybe that's the reason why that this car was canceled. And plus, it was kind of offered late. Like, I think this car was offered like a good week before the Darlington race or right after, while all of his other teammates were offered, you know, weeks before the big Southern 500 race. So, you know, I do see why this car got canceled in both scales, and it's an alright looking throwback, but I think it's my least favorite out of all the throwbacks we had for Hendrick. So I do see why this car got canceled, but I'm sure many Kasey Kahne fans are not too satisfied about that. And speaking of more throwbacks, guys, we got Martrex Jr.'s number 78 Autos Owners Insurance throwback. That has the race version of that car has been canceled in the 124 Elite version. So, yeah, so this is only the race version, guys. So if not to confuse of the regular version that was canceled on the last episode of NASCAR Diecast News. So the 124 Elite version has been canceled of the raced version. So the 124 ARC version is still available for pre-order for any Truex fans out there, but you know, I kind of do see, I mean, Elite diecast, they don't really sell too much, and they do have a lot more detail, but they're really expensive, so I do see why Elite diecasts do get frequently canceled. And our final topic of this show, guys, we got some more NASCAR Authentics news, guys. Yep, I cannot believe this, guys. More NASCAR Authentics news, man. This is why I love Lino. This is one thing I think Lino does a good job with NASCAR Authentics. But anyways, guys, I bet you're wondering what's the next news. Well, we got ourselves new insights of Wave number 8, guys. Wave 8 was just revealed at the end of this month, and it should be coming out within the next month or so. So right about where Halloween hits, I think these cars will be out. And there's something very unique about these cars. We do get 6 new NASCARs to show you, and I bet you wonder what the other 2 diecasts were. Well, for the first time ever, guys, we got NHRA funny car diecasts that are going to be in this wave, which I think is really cool, guys. But we'll get onto that very shortly. But we'll be going over the new NASCAR diecasts that are going to be released for this wave, and then we'll get onto the funny cars very soon. So first one up, guys, we get Jay McMurray's number 1 McDonald's car. Excellent choice right there. This is the first time we're getting a McDonald's car for Lionel NASCAR Authentics. I know a couple years ago we did had the 2012, when Spin Master was around, they had a 2012 Jay McMurray McDonald's car and a 2014 Jay McMurray McDonald's car. So this is the third time we're getting a McDonald's car, but first time for Lionel to do it. And I do like this McDonald's car. Looks really cool, and it's going to be, you know, something to add to your collection for you Lionel NASCAR Authentics fans. We got all the Mountain Dew cars in for this wave. So of course you got Kasey Kahne's, Chase Elliott's, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s, all their Mountain Dew cars. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to show up because you know, the Mountain Dew cars look really nice, and that's a really big sponsor. And we always have Mountain Dew diecasts that in some sort of way in these waves. I mean, the NASCAR Authentics have done it a couple times. They made a Dew Shine car a couple times ago. Amp Energy, you can count that as a Mountain Dew car because that's the same company. So, you know, it was only a matter of time we were going to have these Mountain Dew cars, and I'm fine with that. So if you guys, you know, have been, you know, saving a while to get these Mountain Dew cars, I think this will be the good time to get it. You know, all these, I think if you're only going to get one, I think you should get the rest because these cars will look good in a nice set. So, you know, if you're going to plan on getting the Kasey Kahne, I probably recommend getting the Dale Jr. and the Chase Elliott car as well. I almost said Jeff Gordon right there. That was very disturbing. And we also got Matt Kenseth's number 20 DeWalt car, so that's really cool. Another Joe Gibbs Racing car. Still no Carl Everts yet. I mean, we have all the Gibbs guys, but I'm hoping next wave, guys, we're gonna get another car. We're gonna get a Carl Everts car. I'm just dying for one right now. But I know we do have the 19 Dawn's a Throwback car, but I do want to see, you know, a Stanley or the Subway car, you know. But, you know, I'll give props to Lionel. Hopefully in the next wave we'll see a Carl Everts car. But, you know, at least we finally got all the Gibbs cars for this year for the Lionel Authentics. And for the last NASCAR that's on this wave is the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Sunny D car. Now, this car I am really excited about. Because this car has not been released yet for online. So I'm really happy to see that this car made it, especially, you know, if they were going to release the Fastenal car on this, I would have been alright, but what an excellent choice to put the Sunny D car on here. You know, definitely a great way to market to the kids. I mean, most of these sponsors right here are, you know, pretty much well marketed to, you know, children, excluding DeWalt, but still, I mean, that's pretty cool that they decided to put the Sunny D car in this wave, and that's going to be, I think probably the selling point for the NASCARs, that and the Mountain Dew car for sure. So I'm really excited about that car. I probably would highly recommend getting that Sunny D car, especially if that car is going to be released first, or when we get it online. We'll just see how it goes right there, depending what kind of mold it's going to be on. But for sure, this car will be on the EL mold, so that's going to be really cool right there. And for guys, we do got the first time ever NHRA funny cars are offered at the retailers. So, including in this wave for NASCAR Authentics. And I know what you're thinking. This is NASCAR Authentics. Why are there NHRA cars? Well, Lionel, they do make NASCAR diecasts, but they also make diecasts for the NHRA funny cars. And yeah, I'm not really a big fan of funny cars, but I think this is a really cool cars to pick up, especially they go really well with the NASCAR Authentics patch. So they do have the same packaging as the NASCARs, but it's kind of cool that I decided to put both of the Forces on here. We got John Force's Peak and Courtney Force's Trax's car. I think that's how you pronounce it, Trax S or whatever. But you know, Lionel does do some really good detail on the funny cars, and for any NHRA fans out there, I'm sure this is a dream cut too, because I think this is the first time that we're seeing funny cars produced in the retailers. So I mean, as much as I do like the NHRA diecast, I'm sure a lot of people just want to stick to the NASCARs, which is cool, but I do like how Lionel is offering variety, and that's something very unique that, you know, Spin Master hasn't even come close to. So, you know, you got to give props to Lionel that they tried, and plus they also had John Force and Courtney Force special guests on a live stream at Facebook. So it was, I think that we were going to see some funny cars in this wave, because why would funny car drivers, you know, announce NASCAR diecast? But you gotta love John Force and Courtney Force. You know, they're big supporters of motorsports, and you know, I think these will be two nice pickups to get right here. I'm looking forward to see what David Land's going to say about these diecasts when his Wave 8 video comes out. But that is going to wrap up here for the NASCAR Diecast News, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video series. As always, please give this video a good comment, like. If you guys have not already, subscribe for more on my YouTube channel, Original Big Bri. I make NASCAR Diecast videos, IndyCar Diecast videos, and many more. Hopefully, I will do some more diecast reviews in no time, guys. But until then, guys, this is Original Big Bri signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching NASCAR Diecast News, and until next time, guys, this is myself signing off.